We live in an extraordinary time, a moment in history where the boundaries between the physical and digital worlds blur more each day. We are connected to a vast ocean of information at our fingertips, with every device acting as a portal to knowledge, entertainment, and communication. Every moment, data streams into our lives: news, social media, emails, all vying for our attention, each notification a call to look, to react, to engage. This digital deluge offers knowledge and connection on an unprecedented scale, allowing us to reach across continents and cultures in an instant. But it also presents a profound challenge. How do we find meaning amid the noise when every second brings a new demand for our attention? The sheer volume can feel overwhelming, leaving us mentally fatigued and unfocused, as if we're constantly treading water in a sea of endless updates. Our minds, evolved for a slower world, now struggle to keep up with this relentless pace, often leaving us anxious or distracted. We skim headlines, sacrificing depth for breadth, hoping to stay informed, but rarely finding time to truly understand. The most important messages are often buried under trivial distractions, lost in a flood of alerts and pop-ups that demand our immediate response. The real challenge isn't just managing quantity, but seeking quality, finding the signals that matter, the insights that truly enrich our lives. We need new ways to anchor ourselves, to identify what's meaningful in the chaos, and to separate the valuable from the trivial. Facts and logic still matter, providing a foundation for understanding in a world that often feels uncertain. But in this crowded reality, they're not enough on their own. We crave something more. A way to make sense of it all, to truly connect and understand. We need something that cuts through the noise and speaks to us on a deeper, more human level. That something is story, a timeless tool that helps us find meaning, clarity, and connection in a world overflowing with information. In today's digital marketplace, attention is the most valuable currency. Every second, we're bombarded by a relentless stream of information, each piece vying for a moment of our focus. Notifications, headlines, and updates compete for our eyes and minds, making it harder than ever to truly absorb what matters. Organizations bombard us with statistics and charts, hoping facts alone will persuade us. They believe that if they present enough data, the truth will speak for itself and change our minds. We're shown numbers about global challenges and product effectiveness, but these facts often feel abstract and impersonal. The sheer volume of data can make it difficult to connect with the real-world impact behind the numbers. A single statistic rarely lingers in our memory or stirs our emotions. Numbers alone can be fleeting, quickly forgotten as we move on to the next headline or notification. Data appeals to logic, but it doesn't ignite belief or action. We may understand the facts, but without a deeper connection, we're unlikely to change our behavior or feel inspired. Our capacity for analytical thinking is limited, and as information piles up, we tune out. The more data we're given, the more likely we are to feel overwhelmed and disengaged, simply because our brains can't process it all. The paradox: we have more access to facts than ever, yet it's harder to be moved by them. The constant influx of information can actually make us care less, not more. Information overload can numb us, making us disengage as a form of self-preservation. We put up barriers, tuning out the noise to protect our mental space. For a message to stand out, it must do more than inform. It must connect and resonate. It needs to break through the noise and reach us on a human level, sparking curiosity or emotion. Facts need a form our minds are wired to remember and care about. We crave meaning, not just information, and our brains are built to latch onto patterns, visuals, and stories. That's where story comes in. Stories have the power to transform dry data into something alive, something we can relate to and remember. Stories transform data into something memorable and meaningful. They weave facts into narratives that stick with us long after the numbers have faded. They give facts context, emotion, and purpose. Through story, we see ourselves in the data, and suddenly, the information matters. In a world saturated with information, story is what makes knowledge stick. It's the difference between hearing a fact and truly feeling its significance. It's the bridge between knowing and caring, between simply being informed and being inspired to act. Facts appeal to logic, but stories speak to the heart. A story invites us into an experience, introducing characters and emotions we can relate to. It transforms abstract information into something personal and memorable. Consider the difference between a statistic about drought and the story of a family searching for water. The story is immediate, tangible, and unforgettable. Emotional connection is what makes information stick and inspires empathy. Stories build bridges between people, sharing not just facts but our shared humanity. The listener becomes an active participant, stepping into the shoes of the protagonist. This shared experience creates empathy and understanding, reminding us of our common hopes and fears. Storytelling translates complex realities into the universal language of emotion. In a fragmented world, stories unite us, weaving a tapestry of collective experience. They make the impersonal personal and the overwhelming manageable. The power of storytelling is rooted in our brains. Neuroscience shows that stories activate not just language centers, but also areas linked to action and emotion. When we hear a story, our brains mirror the storytellers, creating a bridge between minds. Stories engage multiple brain regions, making them more persuasive and memorable than facts alone. Compelling narratives trigger oxytocin, the empathy hormone, fostering trust and connection. This is why stories move us and inspire change. Humans are storytelling animals. Our brains are built to understand the world through narrative. Stories are not just entertainment. They're essential tools for making sense of life. Long before the written word, there were stories, shared around fires, painted on cave walls, passed down through generations. Storytelling is a universal language, connecting every culture and era. Stories carry history, values, and wisdom, shaping our identity and sense of belonging. Across cultures, stories often follow the hero's journey, a pattern that mirrors our own struggles and quests for meaning. This structure resonates because it reflects the human experience. In our globalized world, storytelling is more vital than ever, providing common ground for connection. A well-told story breaks down barriers, letting us see the world through others' eyes. Beneath our differences, stories remind us of our shared humanity. In a divided age, stories are a force for unity. Storytelling shapes more than art. It drives brands, movements, and minds. The best brands sell a story, not just a product, forging emotional bonds with customers. Social and political movements use stories to humanize causes and inspire action. In science and education, stories make complex ideas engaging and memorable. Even our personal narratives shape our identity and resilience. The stories we choose to tell can transform our lives and the world around us. Each of us holds a universe of stories, moments of joy, struggle, and growth. Our lives are filled with memories, big and small, that shape who we are and how we see the world. Yet many hesitate to share, fearing their stories aren't interesting or important. Sometimes we worry that our experiences are too ordinary or that others won't understand. But every story matters, offering a unique window into the human experience. When you share, you invite others to see the world through your eyes, and that is a gift. Finding your voice and sharing your story is a powerful act of connection. It bridges gaps, builds understanding, and reminds us that we're not alone in our feelings or experiences. You don't need grand adventures. The most powerful stories often come from everyday moments. A simple conversation, a quiet morning, or a lesson learned can hold deep meaning. Be honest and vulnerable. Authenticity resonates more than perfection. When you open up, you invite others to do the same, creating space for real connection. Practice storytelling like a muscle. Start small, share with friends, write in a journal. Over time, your confidence will grow, and your stories will become richer and more meaningful. Notice what makes stories effective: suspense, imagery, emotion. Pay attention to the details that draw you in and use them to bring your own stories to life. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Storytelling is a skill anyone can develop, no matter where you start. Sharing your story can be transformative, bringing clarity and meaning to your own life. It helps you see your journey from a new perspective. It helps process emotions, celebrate successes, and understand your journey. Through storytelling, you honor your past and shape your future. By offering your story, you give the gift of empathy and connection. You remind others that their feelings and experiences matter too. You add your unique thread to the tapestry of our shared human story. Each voice strengthens the fabric of our community. Don't underestimate the power of your voice. Your words can spark change, inspire hope, and help others feel seen. Your story can inspire, heal, and unite. Start telling it and watch the world around you transform, one story at a time. In a world where stories are used to sell and persuade, we must become discerning consumers of narrative. Not all stories are genuine. Some are crafted to manipulate or mislead. Authentic stories are rooted in truth and told with sincerity, even when uncomfortable. Ask, what's the storyteller's intention? Is it connection or persuasion? Seek stories that challenge your perspective and broaden your understanding. Engage with voices different from your own. True growth comes from diverse narratives. Being critical and curious protects us from manipulation and enriches our lives. Build a personal library of stories that inspire and guide you. The quest for authentic stories is a quest for meaning and genuine connection. We're inundated with information, yet starved for meaning. The digital world connects us, but also isolates and confuses. Storytelling isn't a relic, it's an essential tool for making sense of chaos. Stories arrange facts into patterns of meaning our brains can grasp. They turn statistics into human experiences, fostering empathy and compassion. The stories we tell and listen to shape our world. By embracing storytelling, we enrich public conversation and amplify diverse voices. Every story shared is an act of connection, bridging divides. Let's be conscious, critical and courageous with the narratives we create and consume. In the end, stories are the enduring language of the human heart, vital for our survival and flourishing.